Hello, my peepsters. Welcome to Day's Daily Dose TV. I'm here to, of course, give you the updates and recap of this past week of Days of Our Lives. Where is my little... Ooh, allergies are crazy. I hope you're not in one of those cities that has all the smoke. We've been on code red here. Well, we're not today, but we have been. Oh, it's nasty out. Anyway, let's hope everyone is safe. Okay, this is for the week of June the 26th to June the 30th. Monday the 26th to June the 30th, which is today. What's popping in Salem? All kinds of stuff. Whew. There's a lot of stuff going on, and then there's not. So here we go. Okay, so on Monday, Abe confronts the fake Theo. Whitley had left him alone so she could go talk to Rolf last week, and he has a memory of his wedding, and he remembers talking to his Theo, and this guy was not him. Little fun fact, in case you didn't know it, the fake Theo is actually the original Theo. The boy that's playing the part of the fake Theo was the little bitty boy, Theo. Isn't that cool? Makes you wonder, why didn't they just bring him back as the big Theo? But we were already used to the other character by now. Anyway, Abe confronts him and says, "You're not my son." But he convinces him that he is. Whitley comes in then and tells him, "Well, I should have told you, Abraham. He's not your only son. You have another son." So he got out of it like that. But anyway, when did she tell him that? Because she leaves him with fake Theo to go to the police station because Eli calls her. He has some questions for her. So he ends up... Okay, yeah, it's when she comes back. He ends up sending Whitley an SOS. You need to, get back here. Stuff's going down. He's not believing I'm who he says I am, because the boy is just trying to tell him, "You're just confused, Pops." And Abe's like, "Pops, you're not my son." I don't think anybody's ever called him Pops. Anyway, there's a lot going on with this situation. But there's a couple of things going on Monday. So, also, Megan and Lee are in cahoots, in case you don't know it. They have got EJ and Kristen locked up in the basement. Nobody knows what they're going to do with them, but she seems pretty adamant that she doesn't want to kill them, so she's going to have to come up with something. But Lee is all into this. He has done snapped again, man. He wants Stefan out of the way, so Gabby will come running back to him. Rafe and Jada, he goes to her apartment to talk to her about something, and Kate has already encouraged Jada just to go for it with Ray, and she's in a towel because she's been in the shower. If I'm getting out of the shower and somebody knocks at the door, I usually yell and say, "Just a minute, I've got to get dressed." I don't open the door in my shower in a towel and stuff. But anyway, so she opens the door and they look at each other, they end up kissing and they go downtown. Okay, so that goes on with them. Jake confronts Megan about Kristen. She's like, "Where's Kristen?" And Megan's like, makes up some story that Kristen had to go to New York. And he's like, "She just up and goes to New York?" When she's trying to get custody of Rachel, and she just up and goes to New York and don't tell anybody because Megan is going to throw Gabby and Stefan an engagement party because, of course, it's her plan to somehow kill Stefan during all that. Well, we know what the plan is. She's hoping to capture Harris, brainwash him again, and have him kill Stefan. It's a busy, busy week. So, Jake confronts Megan, and he's sitting there thinking, something just don't sound right about that. So he calls Kristen, and her phone's in the drawer there in that big room, the living room, the gathering room, the room where they eat, drink, and be scary. The one with no on the wall. Anyway, her phone rings, and he pulls out the door, and he's like, Kristen went to New York without her phone. First of all, no mother goes nowhere out of town without a way that her child can get in touch with her. That just don't happen. Okay. So, he's looking, and he's thinking he's already on to something's not right. And they were trying to find EJ too, and he's like, well, where's EJ? Everybody's wondering where EJ is, especially Nicole. And this absence of EJ when Nicole needs him right now. Lots going on with Nicole this week. This is not good. Anyway. Harris runs into Megan. She's, I guess, going to the pub or something. I don't know. She's out making arrangements. They're going to have the engagement party at the bistro. And I think that's where she was headed. And he goes up behind her and he tells her, she's going to go with him, and he's holding a gun on her. So he's like, I'm not going to shoot you, but I'm going to use the gun to make you come with me. Okay, so if you tell me you're not going to shoot me, but you say, come with me, and you're holding a gun on me, I'm probably going to just walk away. But Megan stands there trying to talk to him. Meanwhile, what we don't know, and then the next thing you know, he's grabbing his neck, and he pulls like this needle or dart thing out of his neck. And of course, he's been shot with some kind of animal tranquilizer or something. I don't know what it was that Li Shin shot him with, hiding over in the bushes. Li Shin, I guess, just happened to run up on this situation, or maybe he's been hanging out in the bushes because, he's gone flipsoid. Just when you thought everything was okay, all it took was a little encouragement from Megan. Wouldn't you like to have Gabby back? You help me with this plan. You get Gabby back. I get more of my share of Demara. So, he's gone along with it. That's about all that's happening with them on Monday. I'm going to finish up the rest of the stuff with Abraham. Okay, so I posted a little video last week because I forgot to tell you all that she was talking about Abraham's going to have to die. She's going to have to get rid of Abraham. Now, luckily for us, her plan is to fake his death. Thank you, God. I'm already mad that she's dragging poor little Abraham around. And I don't understand what's going on with her, because I honestly felt like she was just trying to protect him to start with. So I'm not sure what's happening here with this cat lady with the stinking couch. No, I'm just goofing around. Anyway, so I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she's just going to inject him with something and let him die. It's what I thought originally when she was talking about getting rid of him. So she tells little fake Theo, which is really the real Theo. Fake but not Theo, but really Theo. What can we call him? Theo number 1. Baby Theo. Anyway, so she tells him, she says he's going to have to die. And he's like, I'm not up for any of this. He didn't sign up for this. Well, this is her plan. So she goes in with the syringe and the tourniquet. And, of course, she's a nurse on the show. And she's telling, and I thought, what's she doing here? She's telling Abraham she needs to draw his blood and take it to the hospital for some tests. And he's kind of wanting to go to the hospital itself. He wants to get out of the house a little bit. She's like, oh no, that crazy killer's still out there. They don't know where he is. It's not safe for you, Abe. So he's like, all right. And I thought, I don't understand what's happening. Well, you will understand. So this is her plan. So she draws his blood, right? I guess she had his hospital bracelet as well. So this is the plan she cooks up with fake Theo, but not really fake. So, and we don't know until we see what's happening. So the next thing you know, we see this kid. He's at the pier. Rafe's there. And Jada's there. And they're saying, tell us everything from the start. And did it go off then? It seems to me like all of it. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it went down then. So then, when they start talking to him, he is claiming that he watched a man in a wheelchair wobble over and fall into the pier. And he was pretty sure that it was isn't he the governor or the mayor? What? He's one of those, whichever he is. And he was pretty sure that it was Abe. Well, so what did she do with the vial of blood? She had fake Theo, but not fake, baby Theo. Put it all over, like the top stump thing of the post at the pier. You know, the post they have with the ropes that go around them and stuff, up, you know, back and forth, the nautical ropes. This one was covered in blood, and they put his ID bracelet on the pier. So there's two things. They're going to analyze the blood to see if it's Abe's, and of course it is. And, you know, Eli just jumps in. He's like, I'm going in. Because apparently it just had happened. So much is going on. Fake Theo, they finally let him go. And he goes back and he tells Whitley, it all went just as you planned, but you're going to have to come up with more money. Now, if I was fake Theo, when she first... And this is what I had hoped. I thought that when he had the police and was talking to him, that he was ratting Whitley out. But he didn't. So, he went along with their plan and he's demanding more money. Unfortunately, he's going to end up in jail, probably too, if they ever find the Abester. But he's right there in Salem. How long before he regains his whole consciousness, right? So this is what's going on. They had divers. Abe's like, no, something else could have happened. He said, you know, and they have like a live witness that seen him fall in and not come back out. So they resort to the fact that they have to accept the fact after they got back the results that the blood was Abe's. They resigned to the fact that Abe is passed. He is gone. He is dead. He is swimming with the fishies. So, but of course he's not. Well, that's a wrap for Monday. And we go into Tuesday, the 27th. What kind of notes do I have for Tuesday? Oh. Harris and... Oh. Of course, Lee and Megan, their plan is to bring... They've already got Rolf. I love him. They've already got Rolf headed back to Salem. And he comes in a submarine. And he is all dressed up in this white suit. And he looks nice. He's a spiffy dresser. Now, you would expect this from a doctor to look all crisp and clean all the time. You know, because that's usually generally the only way we see them. Or most people see them. I worked with them all my life, so... I have been at after-work events where they weren't all spiffed up. They're just normal people. So, Lee shows Rolf to his lab. And he gives Lee a list of everything he needs. And Lee Shin is like, it's all on its way. And he's like, I don't see my patient. And he's like, we're in the middle of getting that. So I guess that's when... Because when he left him, that's where he must have went to look up Megan and find out what's going on with capturing Harris. And that's when he wandered up on them talking, Harris holding a gun on Megan, and put a little tranquilizer in his neck, he did. You know, these people are just wheeling and dealing with needles in Salem, like, wow. I can tell you, I'm just amazed Oh, never mind. It's just nothing. Okay, so Harris and Megan are facing off. They're yelling at each other before he gets shot by the tranquilizer, and he's trying to fight it, and down he goes. Abe tells Whitley that he wants to go outside. It's a beautiful day. Let's go outside. She ends up talking him out of it, but then when fake Leo comes back in, she's like, Theo, your father's wanting to go outside, and I told him he just can't take that chance because that crazy man that hurt him is still on the loose. And Theo's like, I think that sounds like a great idea, because he's already bent out of shape because he's struggling a little bit with doing this for her. But, she does manage to keep him in the fold. She's really manipulating him, I would say. So, let's see. Yeah, Rafe and Eli search the pier for Abe, and Theo, and unfortunately, Theo is at the police station, the real Theo, with Rafe and Jada when they get a call about Abe to go. So he goes over to Paulina's, and he said they got a call when I was with them, and I'm pretty sure it's something about Dad, and they're getting all excited, thinking they're going to get him. Here for Abe, yeah. They are feeling hopeful. I already said that. Everybody else, they all think that Abe is dead. And they go over to tell Paulina. And, it was so sad. I felt so bad for Paulina. But then on the other hand, I know that he's not dead. And he didn't go swimming with the fishies. But, when she opens the door and they're standing there looking at her, and I don't know, it seems like she said, "Did you find Abraham?" And they didn't answer, and they just looked at each other. And Jada said, "Can we come in?" And she said, "No, you can't." And she shut the door on their face. And they're coming in anyway. And she said, "No, you cannot come in here. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to..." She already knew what was coming. She fell apart. Everybody's falling apart because there isn't a person in Salem that doesn't love our Abe. And, I will say, I've made my way around to some of the groups, and people are ticked off about this whole Abe storyline. They think it's stupid, as do I. They don't get what the reasoning is behind it. They don't like it. Fans really are not saying very good things. It's not very nice, but it is true. It's a stupid story. Anyway, let's see. Rolf gets ready to fry Michaels because they get him to the lab, and they got him all taped down and everything. And earlier Rolf, when he was talking to Lee about the rest of his stuff that he wanted, being delivered to him, he's like, "Well, I hope you got everything on my list. I don't want to have to work with kitchen appliances again." Because, when they refried Stefan, fried him back, they had a mixer. I think I seen a crock pot in there, a hairdryer, some spatulas. Just stuff that was so unbelievable. It was a comedy show. Oh, it was hilarious. But anyway, Rolf is in his lab with his nice crisp little lab coat on. Whiter than white. He's a tidy whitey. So anyway, Harris wakes up. And then we move into Wednesday. Chloe ends up visiting Nicole, and Nicole is frantically texting and trying to find EJ. EJ had hunted down this fertility specialist, or specialist in whatever kind of problem it was that Nicole kept having, and arranged for this doctor have come to Salem to see Nicole and see what they think. So she was busy that, she can't get a hold of him. She couldn't get a hold of him by the time she met with them, which they said that with all the advances, she should be able to carry the baby. Okay, so, Chloe's telling her, she's already getting ready to jump on EJ's back, and she's just like, I haven't talked to him. It's so odd. Something's just off. That's what we call the sixth sense, or any of your senses. And I've always believed this. God gave us this sense. Now, when you have like a gut feeling about something, and I call it your sixth sense, or just your sense, or whatever senses, you should always listen to that. Always. Now, I know sometimes it gets hard and emotions might interfere with it, but for the most part, if you have a real strong feeling about something, you should back away from that and not do it, or whatever it is, listen to it. Okay, so she's having that sense, something's off. Something's not right about this. It's not. It's not right at all. And your boy's just right downstairs. It kills me because there's only two places that people disappear, and that is at the DeMera estate, and that is in the basement, in the cellar, tied up, or in the crypt. You would think by now, if anybody thinks somebody's missing or something suspicious, those are the first two places I would look. Somebody missing? Check the basement or the crypt, because that's where they're going to be. On the occasion, Victor's shed. Okay, so Xander is walking through the square, and he overhears Dimitri on the phone with his mother. Don't think he quite overheard all of it, because he was telling his mother, I haven't been able to get a hold of you. I did propose to the wrist check woman. That's what he heard. So he walks up on him and says, excuse me. And he introduces himself and stuff, and Dimitri's like, I've never heard of you, because it didn't register first. And he's like, I overheard you saying you were going to marry the wrist check woman, Gwen wrist check. And Xander got all up in his face like he shouldn't have, because all these people are so protective over their exes. Sorry, I was dying of thirst. Is not even normal. But anyway, they have some words, and Xander lets him know, you hurt her, you'll have to answer to me. Well, you barely know her, you're going to marry her. Everybody's on, and I have to say, Dimitri, as handsome of a young man that he is, his whole little deal is, every time I'm hearing him talk, I'm thinking, he even sounds so fake. But Gwenny, she's falling for it. Why? Because she's desperate to be loved. Nobody likes her, much less loves her, except little scrappy dog Leo, the scrapster. Okay, so Johnny sets up yet another date with Wendy. Why does he want to be with this girl? I don't see why either one of them want to be with her. Not that she's not a pretty young lady, because she is. She's smart, she's attractive, but she's playing a game here. Now, they both know that she's dating each of these, but I don't know. She's getting like it's almost like, sometimes it's almost like she's making them beg at her feet or something. I just don't like the whole situation. I think they both should dump her. Well, let Tripp have her. I don't like him anyway. He's all scrubbed up or something. I don't know why I don't like Tripp's character. He used to be with Allie. He's a good guy. He's a handsome young man. He's a doctor, for God's sake. What's not to like about him? He belongs to Patch and Ava, and still he's a good kid. So I've just never liked his character. He just seems so wishy-washy. He's very pale. I don't know. Anyway, Johnny sets up the date with Wendy. But then he runs into Chanel. She got the bakery open. She comes out of the bakery and she's crying. And I have to say, out of all the people crying, this was the most fake cry I've ever seen anybody do. And I love Chanel. I love her dearly. You know, and then and Johnny's seen her, and of course he's going to go over, and he's just the sweetest kid, this Johnny. You can hardly tell he's a Demera, but they do have feelings. So, you know, he's comforting her. He doesn't want to leave her alone. She's going over to be with her mama, and you know, he doesn't want her to drive, so he's going to drive her over there. Well, here he goes again. You know, he's got this date with Wendy, as I call her. And, you know, Chanel needs something. I mean, how much of this crap is Wendy going to put up with? Well, not much. Because every time that he has to cancel for something, old Trippy's right there in his little towel. Alright, so Chanel's crying over Abe's death, and Johnny didn't even know Abe had passed away. So he takes her home, and he wants to stay with her a little bit, and at least until, because Paulina wasn't there. At least until Paulina and Theo or whoever got back there. So he does call Wendy, and he tells her what's happened. And she is very understanding. And then she gets off the phone, and of course her and Tripp had already been down in shots, playing Zynga, you know, just having fun, and almost going downtown. Now, if she goes downtown with both of them, I'm going to call her a slut, okay? I'm just going to do it. You shouldn't just be sleeping around, man. Make up your mind. Well, maybe she has to sleep around to make up her mind. I don't know. Maybe I won't call you a slut. Go ahead. Anyway, Wendy and Tripp have a 45-minute date while they're waiting on, you know, Johnny to get there. Of course, he takes absolute advantage to any moment that Johnny's not there. So, she's okay with Johnny, though. She tells him, well, by all means, you know, stay with her, whatever. I'm so sorry. You know, and then, of course, Tripp, you know, he called his dad and stuff because they were such good friends. He's such good friends with Abe. But anyway, they get back to their kissing and stuff a little while later, and there's a knock at the door, and she goes, opens the door, it's Johnny, and he said, I know it's late, but you know, Paulina showed up, and I thought we could go grab a bite. And she's like, well, I've already eaten. And there's Tripp standing over there. And he's like, okay, you've already had dinner. Want to go do something else? He might have asked her to go see a movie, or maybe said, you want to go get some dessert or something. He said, did I interrupt something? She said, yeah, you did. And he said, looked at Tripp, and he said, well, okay, I'll leave you to it. And just at that moment, of course, Tripp gets a page or a call, and he has to go into work. So Wendy's like, oh, I'm free after all. I thought, well, it's about time Johnny gets a break there. I don't think Johnny and Wendy would be a good couple. So then we move on to Thursday. So Eric is worried about Nicole after he finds out that Abe has died, because Nicole looks at Abe like a dad. And Sloan says, well, why don't you go see if she's okay? And he said, are you serious? You don't mind? And she said, no, you know, go ahead. So, because she's feeling guilty, you know, because she's not the father of Nicole's baby. I feel so bad. I just wish Sloan hadn't have done that, because I really was wanting Sloan and Eric to be together. I mean, Nicole has jerked Eric around, Rafe around, EJ. I mean, you know, she's well, not EJ. EJ's jerked her around quite a bit. But, you know, she's hurt a lot of people with her little love games. So, you know, I would rather Eric be with Sloan. I think she needs a family, and I think Eric could be that family for her. So, he goes over to see Nicole, and she's like, what are you doing here? And she's all aggravated because she's texting EJ and don't know where he is. And he said, I just wanted to make sure you were okay after what happened to Abe. And she said, Abe? What happened to Abe? So he was the one. He had to break it to her. So he did stay there and comfort her. Now, while he was there, she started having real bad cramps. And he's like, where's EJ? And I'm going to go get EJ. And she's like, he's not here. I haven't heard from him except for text. I haven't seen him, And he's like, what? Everybody's getting aggravated to EJ. But EJ wanted to be there if it wasn't for Psycho Megan. So, he takes her to the hospital. And everything's fine. The doctor checks her. Well, Tripp's there. He does blood work or whatever and stuff, and then OB comes in and sees her, and then she's doing fine. It was just some ligament stretching or some kind of nonsense. So who knows? But he said, he was glad that everything was going to be okay. Dimitri proposes with a ring this time again to Gwen, and then he realizes he's going to have to persuade Leo. Leo is on to him, but he is a little bit swayed by his handsomeness. And finally Leo says, okay, he'll give his blessings. Or, no, that wasn't what he said. He'll quit pitching a fit over it. Okay, so everybody's getting ready for this big engagement party that's going down on Friday, of course, which is tomorrow because this is on Thursday. So Xander and Chloe do some making out. Chloe's asking him how concerned she has to be that he's so protective over Gwen and cares about who she's with. And he says he's ready to move on, and she says she is too. They start kissing, and you guessed it, they went downtown. So, God, Chloe, get your head out of your butt. Chloe is just a gorgeous girl, by the way. Xander's a pretty girl, too. Oh, I should have said that. And I only say that because, never mind. But anyway, I don't want to offend a whole group of people. So, anyway. Not that he acts feminine in any way. It was just a joke. Because I'm just going to tell you anyway. No, I'm not. So, okay. Xander and Chloe went downtown. Wendy and Tripp are getting hot and heavy, and they come this close to going downtown. But they didn't. Sloane tells Colin the truth about Nicole's baby. Now, I think that was a big mistake because Colin acts like he loves his sister, but I don't know. He's really about himself mostly. So she ended up telling him the truth why she felt guilty, and she told him she wanted to, that Colin was her only family. And, she wanted to have a baby with Eric. So he said he hopes she got her wish and things happened for her. So maybe he does care about his sister. Okay, so we're moving on to Friday, which is today, June 30th. Oh, and the things are popping in Salem, and they're not popping. Dimitri's whizzing through the square, and he runs across Johnny and Wendy sharing an ice cream. Wendy got strawberry, and Johnny got chocolate on their sides, and then in the middle, what did they have? Cookies and cream? And they were just being silly about who was eating the most cookies and cream or something. I don't know, just kid stuff, really. And anyway, Dimitri slides up on him and says, "Oh, there's my family," and he introduces Wendy to Dimitri, and he's like, "I was just wondering if y'all are coming to the party tonight." And Johnny's like, "Party?" And he's like, "Yes, your aunt, my mother, is having an engagement party for Stefan and Gabby." And he's like, "Well, I don't think so. And Wendy's like, "I'd love to go to a party." And I was almost Gabby's sister-in-law, and she said Gabby was the closest thing to a sister she ever had. And she's glad that she's happy, and she would like to go. So, her and Johnny are headed to the potty. Meanwhile, Kate is texting back and forth with Harris. And he's telling her he's got Megan, he's got everything under control. And he's going to take her away and all this crap. And it's really Lee Chin that's got Kate's phone, texting with Kate. So, everybody's getting ready for the party. Chad and Stephanie are going. EJ and Kristen can't go. But like Stephen and Gabby said, oh, look, a room full of people who hate us that are going to pretend like they like us. You know, you're getting a party, man. Deal with it. EJ and Kristen are still yelling down in the basement. They're screaming their little heads off. Kristen's starving. I guess Megan is not feeding them much. I have seen her taking a sandwich and some stuff down there to them, but how they eat it if they're tied up? Is she sitting down there feeding them? You know, they don't show you that part. Anyway. Today's the engagement party, right. Harrison and Megan and Rolf are in the laboratory. And they've fried him out. And Megan's like, are you sure you've done it? He says, it's complete. He's going to be totally under your control and ready. And she's like, he doesn't look like he's going to be ready for tonight. It's just a couple of hours. And Rolf said, yes, it would be ready. And then she said, what? And there's still the matter of EJ and Kristen. I can't let them go, or they'll rat me out to Stefan. And I don't want to kill them. I can't kill my whole family. That'll look suspicious. You think? And he says, you underestimate me. And she's like, what? And he said, SR-17 or something like that, which is that drug that he shoots everybody with that causes them to lose their memory. Well, like he said today, and he whipped it up for Megan to shoot up Kristen and EJ, is they wouldn't have any recent memories for like 2.5 weeks. So to Megan, that's enough time for her to kill Stefan, get whatever she needs to get, and get the hell out of Dodge, I guess. I don't know what her plan is exactly. But she's like, oh, well, I'll stop on my way and do this, take care of them. So she goes down and she's talking to them, and she tells them, you know, in about an hour, Stefan will be dead. And they're both having a fit because they have been able to spend some time with Stefan. That he may not be their favorite sibling, but they certainly don't want him murdered. And they're having a fit. And Kristen, and I hate that they're losing their memory because Kristen and EJ have bonded through this time. So she shoots them, and she's like, now I'll be back in a little bit when your all's memories are gone, and I'll let you loose. And they're not going to remember anything. So they're down there, and EJ's like, I'm trying so hard to hold on to my memories, but they're slipping away. And Kristen's like, me too. Well, silly little, of course, Dimitri is taking Gwenny to the party, and this is the most dysfunctional party you've ever been to. So he's taking Gwenny, his bride-to-be, to the party, and he overhears Megan, and Leo keeps told Gwen that he wants to sneak in the DeMera mansion and see what he can overhear and stuff, and she tells him no. He does it anyway, and he slides right back in those back French doors that nobody ever locks. You would think out of the number of people that have been kidnapped and murdered in that house that they would keep those doors locked. And so he sneaks in, and he's doing his little recording. He said, I couldn't hear what they were saying to each other, but I think something's going on down in the cellar, because he's seen Megan go to the cellar. So I don't know if he waited. I didn't see her come out before he went down there, which blew me away that he didn't run into her going down there. So he goes down there and opens the door, and there they are, and he's like, "Geez, guys," because they're all tied up. I think everybody else has gone to the party because that is close to the end of today's show. And most of today's show is, everybody getting ready for the party. So, the party begins. Gabby and Stefan, they go a little bit late, and that's when they walked in and said, "Look, a room full of people that hate us and that are going to pretend to like us." So Megan finally shows up. She's a little bit late, and she gives a speech, and everybody's just standing there because nobody really wanted to be there. Anyway, Dimitri, he goes up to Stephanie and Chad, and he's like, "Do you all know the lovely Miss Rischek?" And Chad was trying to not even look at her. She terrorized Abigail. She lied and did all kinds of... she did all kinds of things to Chad. I mean, they don't like her at all. And Chad, when Megan was giving her speech, she was talking about how nothing's more important than family, and how we all come together, and yes, we have our differences, but we still care about each other, yada, 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 yada. So, everybody's just standing there like somebody put a gun to their back to make them go to this party. And, let's see, now a little bit earlier than that, Lee runs into Wendy and Johnny in the square, and she's like, "Lee," and he's like, "Wendy, Johnny," and she told him, "We're getting ready to go to an engagement party," and he's like, "No, don't go," and he didn't want her to go, and she's like, "Why shouldn't I go?" And he's like, "Well, watch your back, because you never know what's going to happen at a DiMera party. No offense, Johnny." And Johnny's like, "Oh, no offense taken. I know how we are, So that was a tip off right there. Now that makes me think that maybe if Wendy did get hurt or killed, that would just be just what he deserved. But we do know that Gabby is going off the show, and people seem to think that she's going to get murdered at this party. But I was pretty sure that she still had more scenes up until September or something. Maybe I was wrong. But people are afraid she's going to have a bloody ending. So I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I am pretty sure that innocent people are going to get hurt. People that they did not intend to get hurt. Okay, so she's giving this or whatever, and then in walks Harris. And Megan's like, "Harris!" And he's holding a gun. He's pointing the gun at Megan. But everybody screams, and then everybody moves up toward the front, like where Megan is. And that seemed like a stupid move to me. I would have been wanting to go back over kind of like behind him, especially if he was going to head off for Megan. That is how it ended on Friday. So we don't know what would happen after that. I wouldn't say that you could trust any of the spoilers they post, because so many times I've clicked on them and they've said this, that, and the other, and it just wasn't true. So, people will tell you anything, get you to click on their video. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, that's it. That's a wrap. June 30th. 26th through the 30th, days of our lives. I will see you in Salem. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you like the video, hit like. And I will see you all in Salem. Have a very happy weekend and a happy 4th of July. Be safe. Make sure if you're shooting off fireworks, you got a water hose handy. And have a good time, and God bless. Well, it would be God.